All right. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. So glad that you're here. We have a special show tonight. We have Kyle O is going to be on the front and top of the stage, and we're going to talk all things paragliding. You're also joined by Dangerous Dane on YouTube. Follow him. Check out his channel. He's a brand new paramotor pilot. I think he's on. Last time I saw, he was on his 8th flight.
Still there.
Yep, I asked him a while back to join us on the show because I like the perspective of both the veterans and the new guys. I'm one of the new guys, so I need somebody with me. Stay with me. Also, Sean, no stranger to the show. Sean's one of the moderators. Take care of the chat. And we're also joined by Larry. Larry runs the paraorangeproducts.com website, and he has a manufacturing of these different paramotor products. And so we're going to do a giveaway tonight. We have a take-along stuff sack that he's going to be giving away. We're doing a raffle, and this involves the Patreon supporters, and it involves a free giveaway. Also, if you don't know, Para Orange Products is the sponsor for the show. Right now, it is the only sponsor for the show. And so we're so excited to have them on board, and we're enjoying the camaraderie, and I'm excited that the show that anybody would believe in us. So glad that you guys are here, and we have every week we have such a great time. I have been locked on to Kyle O's videos lately. They've been incredible, and they've been coming back to back. And I think what he was doing, he was going on this push, see if he could get that 5 grand on followers, and he did it. And I was amazed that he just kept pumping those videos out, man. And I've been watching every single one. I love watching his stuff. I know all of you do too. If you haven't found Kyle O yet, you got to watch him, man. His videos are incredible. He was one of the first people I saw right there in next to Tucker Gott and some of the other guys, and incredible videos. And he really takes his time. And so not only that, and just give me a second. I'm going to prop you up a little bit here, Kyle. He built his own paramotor. And if you're questioning whether or not he could actually do that, he actually filmed every part of the making of it. And it's an awesome, it's called the Dirty Bird. And I want a Dirty Bird. I don't know how it's going to happen. Someday I'm going to either make a Dirty Bird or I'm going to, maybe Kyle will start Dirty Bird Manufacturing Company and make me one. And so anyways, we're going to have a great time tonight. We do want to talk about just a couple things of business before we get rolling. This show is ran by Patreon supporters and PayPal supporters. And I just want to give a special thanks to all the guys who have been supporting the show from the very beginning. From the first episode, we had guys watching and communicating and wanting to be involved in flying and being involved in this paragliding talk. And right out of the gate, man, people were supporting the show financially, and I really appreciate that. And I don't do it for the money, but it sure makes it more fun when I could be flying and I do paragliding talk. And so I live down the street from the most awesome place to fly. And the other day, I went in the backyard and I got on radio and I said, radio check. And one of the pilots responded back to me, and I'm like, oh, and they can hear me. And so I keep this on during the day when I know everybody's flying so I can hear and see what's going on in the air.
Now tell me, is that good or bad for your psyche, Robert?
No, it drives me nuts.
I think to say that might hurt my feelings more than it would help them if I could just hear the chatter.
I know, it's horrible.
Living at the launch, hear what's going on, see them out the window, but not be up there playing would be psychologically damaging to me, man.
Be hearing stories on the news about Robert radioing in his sleep, like over.
Anybody want to fly with me?
So, hey, let me apologize for the setting here. I shot over to the public library. It's closed, but you can still get a Wi-Fi signal from out front. So I'm right in between the ghetto and the local McDonald's. So if you see me looking around, that's probably why. And I was having some technical difficulties. I couldn't make it work at the drugstore, so I shot across the street. It's like a block or two from here. And so I'm just sitting on a picnic table outside the public library after hours. I'm not going to say stealing internet because I'm a local taxpayer here in this parish. So yeah, that's what my situation is currently.
Faithful, man. Faithful.
Yeah. I made it work though. Made it work.
That's right. Well, okay. So we're going to keep the show to 1 hour so you don't get mugged out there.
Oh, come on. They all probably know me. They're all my customers anyway. They wouldn't want to mug me. They need me.
They need you. Oh, that's so true. Oh, man. So if you don't know, Kyle's the local drug dealer.
Yep. The mall pharmacy, baby.
Yeah, mall pharmacy. And I really want to get a mall pharmacy hat. So that's something
they sold out quick. We made a run of them, and they like went out the door within a week. It was crazy.
You guys want to hear something? I got an idea for some hats. Some of you got the email. I'm going to show you a sneak peek real quick. You guys want to see it?
Sure, yeah. Let's see them.
It's shirts that say, I might have intermediate syndrome.
Oh, I heard you talking about that on the last show. That was good. Dane, what's up, man? I've never actually talked to you outside of commenting on a video or something.
Hey, man, what's up, dude?
How you been, Sean?
I've been doing all right, Kyle. How you been, bud?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah.
Still stomping around this swamp, you know? Heck yeah.
It's like that here, but colder.
Yeah, man, I took my paramotor to work with me today, and it's been getting dark. Like sunsets at 7 o'clock, basically. I get off at 6, hopefully. Usually it's like 6:15 if you really want to know what's going on. You get the lady that calls, says, I'm still in the grocery store. I need you to wait just a minute. Sure, yeah, we'll wait on you. But it puts my flying to like 20 minutes before sunset is all I got by the time I get there, throw my boots, take off. So I brought the motor to work, and I just took off out of the parking lot after work. Like I didn't even really have to even move the truck or anything. I just set up in the grass, shot between some cars, and took off. And yeah, it was cold, man. I couldn't fly but maybe for 15 minutes because I was freezing. I didn't have gloves or jacket. The cold weather finally got here today, the day that I bring the paramotor to work with me for the first time this winter. And it like cut me short. So
no winter clothes either?
Well, no. I just had this work shirt, and I had some gloves that were in the truck, and I thought about that about 5 minutes in.
And still
I started watering. I didn't have the right eyewear, you know.
And still
just the whole thing was kind of a mess. But I got to fly. It'd been a few days since I've been able to fly. We've had kind of some mucky weather that came through, and it finally passed by, and that cool air feels great on the ground. I mean, this is like what you look for, you know. And but flying, it got just a little chilly there. What happened?
There's the shirt right there.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
I thought I hit a button. I was like, oh no, I killed it. Good, man. So, good.
Did anybody see just a couple hours ago, Woody dropped his SIV video? I
was watching it while I was trying to figure out what was going on with the computer at the drugstore. That's how I checked that the internet was working there. I watched Woody's video. Yeah.
I saw your it
made me want to do SIV so bad. Like I'm in need. The last two I tried to go do, the weather or scheduling, something conflicted, and I couldn't make it out to the launch. Like just to get a tow, man. I just wanted a tow so I could just do stalls all the way down, and I couldn't get to it, and that hurt my feelings. And so now, I feel behind or something. Like I need to take that. Which of course I took that Delta 3. I've been wanting to do SIV on the Delta 3. And
so before you go too far, I know where you're heading with this, and I want to talk about this tonight. Kyle went on like a cross country adventure, and it was a competition.
Yeah, competition. So, just kind of a friendly gathering of pilots to race to a goal each day. And
that was incredible, man. And the way you documented it I was so in it, I couldn't turn it off.
Oh, they were pretty long videos, but most of it was just me talking about what was happening. Because you're so in the moment when you're out there doing those moves and that weather, it's hard to stop and vlog and talk about what's happening. And man, there was some cool stuff that happened too.
Oh,
so I kind of regretted not having the camera on, but you know, what do you do with 5 hours of GoPro video, right?
Yeah.
Like we would choke my computer to death probably.
Yeah. That was excellent. So I do want to ask about that. So we want to talk a little bit about safety tonight. Last week we talked about the idea of pushing the progression. and there's a careful line that you cross in pushing your progression. And Larry's actually a pilot. He's been flying not just paramotors but aircraft for some time. What is it? 20 years, Larry? 30 years?
I got my rating in 1989.
Nice.
And you're flying Cessnas.
Well, honestly, I flew a Bonanza, Beechcraft Bonanza, for quite some time because it was my uncle's and it was free, so it was a great opportunity.
Yeah.
But when that ended, when he moved, I then switched over to a Cessna 150 and a Skyhawk. They were pretty cheap to rent.
Nice. Was it a
nice.
V-tail, Larry?
Yeah, it was. It was.
The old Dr. Killer.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. That's exactly right. And my best friend, who I fly with now, we both fly quads, Bob, he also owned one right down here in Florida, but he got rid of it a while ago. But it was pretty nice to have that at my beck and call at no cost.
Yeah.
That made flying a lot easier.
So if, we're talking about, flying aircraft and we want it to be safe, you would never push yourself to, push the limits in flying just a fixed wing aircraft. But yet when we get to paramotoring, for some reason we think, or just free flight paragliding, we think, I've got to push my progression. And we talked about that last week. And so I wanted to ask you, Kyle, what have you learned about yourself, and what can we take away from what you've got years under your belt now of free flight and paramotoring, so much value in that, and that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you on the show again tonight.
Man, as far as progression goes, it's different for every pilot. There's some people that have been doing it as long as me, as far as the years go, but don't have the time or the flights, and they only pick the super soft weather to go out. Pushing and trying to progress is not a thing that is for everyone. It depends on what you want to do, what you're comfortable doing. I come from an aviation background myself, and doing all manner. I would fly anything that they would let me fly. I still will. And it was it went all the way into some aerobatics and some under the hood instrument training. I got maybe 20 hours under the hood. Never got my rating, but learned how to do that and saved my bacon, once or twice too. So that was a good thing. But it is different for everybody, and they have to progress. The pace is different for everybody as well. Being that I've been training this last year pretty substantially, I've noticed that some people pick it up almost instantly. I mean, they can kite, and within just one session or two, they're ready for their first flights. And then some people, sadly, they never really get ready to do it, and they just struggle and struggle and struggle. So everybody learns at a different pace. There's physical things. Weather's a huge thing. And we talk about progression. A lot of the progression that has to do with paragliding is pushing into that deeper and deeper weather phenomenon, the bigger thermals later in the mornings or earlier in the evenings. And that kind of stuff can, you catch a boomer that you're not ready for, and whack. It was, out there in Texas when I did that competition, that was the first or second week of August, man. It was 100 degrees. Sun was cooking, man. There was some intense stuff going on out there weather-wise. I mean, 1,000 feet a minute climbs everywhere. I took some big collapses, some full frontals, and, after you do that over and over, it becomes kind of just a normal little thing. You try to prevent them, but when they happen, you just throw your move to get it back open and keep on going. So that's, I think I probably talked about it in the videos. I don't know if I need to rehash the whole thing here, but
no, that's why you're here.
Yeah, man.
Paraglidingtalk.com.
I love it. But yeah, the progression does vary wildly, especially when you talk about paragliding. With airplanes, it's there's kind of a set regimen that you have to do to get, say, your solo check off, and then your dual XC with the instructor, and they signed off for solo XC. You take your test, then you really start learning and practicing and doing things, and it's kind of a prescribed thing that goes on when you're talking about airplanes. But with paragliding, it's variable. You get you know, even from the get-go, you know, you don't have to have the medical check-off, the certification that you have to get to fly the airplanes. I mean, they're ultralights. They're 103. You don't have to have anything. Just buy it and fly it if that's what you're into. But I recommend training, though. It's so helpful, even if it saves some gear or some headache or answers some questions. You know, it's worth it. And as far as how much it's worth, you know, there's some programs that are pretty spendy and some that are not. But it's you know, it's I don't know. Sean might could tell you something. I don't know.
You can put a plug in.
Sean.
Sean got his training with Kylo, or part of it.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, I got it. He was ready to fly, man. I just gave him some assistance on his first few flights, and we did some flying together. So that was pretty cool. We he had put in the work, man. He had put in the practice. We just had to chip off some rough edges and smooth out his technique and some of the ways he was touching his lines and stuff. But he had put in the hours, you know, and you just got to put in the hours on the ground. That's the beauty of paragliding, is you can put in the hours on the ground and be pretty dang proficient by the time you get to the air. And I believe it was Mitch Riley on the Cloud-Based Mayhem podcast. He said something, you know, a lot of things can happen in the sky that are scary, but they're not dangerous. But the only time you're going to get hurt is when you're near that ground. So being able to be proficient near the ground is where you really can save yourself from damage or injury. And just being on top of that wing and able to handle it in various conditions is going to be a huge thing for anyone's progression. So it goes right back to the foundation, the fundamentals, as they say. That's where it all starts and ends.
Yeah.
So
one of the things that really stuck with me in the beginning was the ground handling, getting out there as much as I can. And one of the numbers that they used when talking about it was 30 hours. If you can put in 30 hours of ground handling, you should be set. And one of the guys that I was talking to, and I was so stubborn in the very beginning, I said, you know, I can't afford to go and pay $3,000 to go through a training thing. I can't, you know, I can't take the week off of work and all, you know, all these excuses why I wasn't going to do it. Realistically, I just was impatient, and I could have waited but I had my own idea of what I was going to do. And the guy told me, listen, you should be able to do a helicopter on the ground. Be that good at ground handling before you even take your first flight. That's what he was telling me to do before he would say, yeah.
Good
and
advice.
I'm like, and so I went after it. I'm like, yes. And so you want to talk about pushing your progression, push your progression on the ground and press that in. But when you're talking about pushing a progression in the air, whole different thing. There are going to be certain people that are going to move at certain levels, but I would say that if, for example, look at Matt Woodworth, Woody Gamertag. He's out there doing SIVs. This is his third one. He's pushing the progression. In the last video, I'm going to spoil it for everybody. Spoiler alert. He has, what did he call it? A
stall knot.
Stall ball.
A stall ball. Yeah, that's what it was.
He's like stall ball. His wing is just like this. And, you know, it eventually came out, and he was good, and he had a couple twists, and he was able to get out of it and do what he needed to do. But he's pushing the envelope. He's trying to get to that place. I mean, he was a hair's breadth away from Gabe saying, okay, we're in a situation where you're probably going to have to throw reserve. I mean, he's in a safe place, but did you catch that part where he goes into his wing almost?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he's pushing it, right?
Yeah.
And so some guys will be doing that over the ground, and it's like, whoa, that's pushing it to the max.
It is. Over the ground is dangerous. He was in a good situation out there with the water and the boats and the reserves, and that is where you want to do that.
Yeah.
But again, he had another thing too, altitude. Say he had the stall ball, you know, I don't know, I couldn't see his altitude in the video, but if you got a couple thousand feet, man, that's like a half a minute before you're into the water or into the dirt. You can do a lot with 30 seconds. I mean, it's if you just stop and count to 30, it takes a while to get there. You can do a lot of things in that short amount of time. When I was at a SIV years ago, a guy went up and he was doing some stalls, kind of what they call the graduation tow, where you've done all the maneuvers and you just go up there and do whatever you want in that environment. And he went up and did a couple of spins and a stall maybe, and he ended up, his risers kind of twisted and sort of caught him by the head or something, or his GoPro. I don't know the exact thing, but he immediately grabbed his reserve and threw it at about 3,000 feet.
No.
It was, and we just watched him for like this whole time fighting the reserve and the wing all the way down to the water. And everybody was just kind of like, oh man, you know, he could have probably fixed that 10 times before he got down. But it's always a good move if you're going to throw the reserve to throw it. If that's the move you make it early, make it high, get it done. It's not shouldn't be a scary thing, but
good. You just triggered something that I heard Gavin McClurg say. Don't be ashamed to throw the reserve.
Oh no, it's never the wrong move. Never.
Yeah. It's, if you got to toss, you got to toss it. And if you, by the way, let me put a plug in for them, Cloud-Based Mayhem. Go check out his podcast. He has a podcast on iTunes.
That stuff is solid gold. Huh? I like that one.
Man.
For sure.
You want to be.
Sometimes I drive somewhere just so I can listen to it, like the next town over to get a hamburger or something, just so I can jam some Mayhem on the way.
I was expecting tacos, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever, man. I had gumbo twice today.
You had gumbo?
Yeah, it was gumbo at Piggly Wiggly. So I had gumbo for lunch, and then my mama called me right before I was going to fly. Said, I cooked gumbo for supper. I said, all right, well, I'm flying, so I'll maybe catch it later. After that 10-minute flight, I shot over there and grabbed me a bowl before I came to the internet. So I'm double gumbo today, man. It's all right.
Have you ever had your wife drive you to work with the motor and the wing, and then she just goes home and then you fly home?
No. She usually leaves to go to work before I do. So yeah, if I have to, I'll fly to work. But it's busy in the morning. There's a lot of traffic, so I can't. It would be dangerous to go there and try to land and dodge cars and everything. Evenings are a little better because everybody's gone out of there, and I got sort of a wide open spot. But I try to stay away from the congestion and keep it legal. That's an important thing. First time I'm flying to the side of a car, that's going to be the end of it, right?
No, that's going to be the beginning of viral. That's what that is.
Oh, boy, I don't know that I want that, man. Fame is probably overrated.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm sure of it.
Now, fortune came with it. I might make some trades.
Yeah.
YouTube doesn't pay a lot.
No, it doesn't. I'd stopped looking because I just got disappointed and I'm still at $22. And I think they're just pretending.
Yeah.
They demonetized the last show.
When I clicked those ads, it was like, okay, now it's fixing to start rolling in. But
yeah,
month goes by, 2 months go by. And it's like, man, maybe not. And finally, they paid me a little bit of money. It's like, oh, wow. Okay. So if they did this every day, it might equal out.
You gotta be careful what you type in too.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't you got banned? I don't want to get off subject too much, but didn't you get
No. Yeah, I made a video
live
about
stream
killing a snake in the yard, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, apparently that ticks some people off. And then I looked, and there's like 100 videos of dogs killing snakes on YouTube. So I was just kind of like dumbfounded, like, why did mine get the ban hammer?
So
there's all these other 100 of them here.
This last show that we just did, I typed in the word accidents for the live stream because we were going to talk about the previous accidents, and it came up and it said that demonetized because of the content of the show. We hadn't even gone live yet. We hadn't talked about anything. So I knew it was in the title, so I changed the word accidents to recent events or something, and then it pulled it off.
Maybe they didn't want anybody live streaming a live accident.
Maybe.
That probably could be, man. That's wouldn't surprise me if somebody tried that.
Right. So I want to talk about your I don't know if it was your last video, but it was a video where you got to fly in Shreveport.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah.
That was amazing. I know if you already watched the video, I'm sorry that we're going to rehash this, but I was so inspired that I watched that, and I thought that was such a cool video because it's something that we all think about. Like, I want to fly and these areas, and you did it, and you got permission to do it, and you recorded it. It was just maybe relive that for us real quick, and talk about what you took away from that.
I fly around the Shreveport Bossier area. Even with airplanes, it was pretty regular. I was in and out over there. I've actually landed at Barksdale in a formation for an air show before. That was pretty cool. That was years back. But I've used all those airports, the Shreveport area, and I've always just paramotored sort of under the shelf out there, kind of near the city, but not really in the city. And it just kind of hit me, man. Like about a week before I made the video, I thought, man, I wonder who I should call. Should I call, like downtown or maybe it just hit me that morning. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I just thought, oh man, I'm going to call Barksdale Tower and ask them, because I was off work. My wife was headed out shopping with one of her friends. I didn't have anything to do. And so I looked up the airport information online, got the manager for Barksdale, called him. He said, you need to call the guys in the tower for something like that. And I said, well, do you have their number? He gave me their number, but he said they don't open till 7. So I had to kind of loiter around. If I'd been over there early, it would have been a much better flight, that crisp morning air. But I spent the best part of the air driving over there. I didn't know if they would even let me. It was worth a shot. Of course, it's on the video how I kind of picked where I asked to fly, because that's probably a huge thing. Because if you're asking to fly right off the approach into the runway, they're probably going to tell you no 100% of the time. But because I was wanting to do it in a spot that was like out of the way from where they usually do operations, and keeping it low, I told them my max altitude wasn't going to be very high. And he told me to hold on a couple times. I don't know what he was checking on, but he's like, yeah, man, go ahead. So he gave me the all clear to fly my paramotor over there in Charlie airspace, which I've never seen anybody do. I don't know that it's been done. I'm sure it's been done, but I don't know. It was nothing I'd ever come across. So I thought,
what he was doing? He was like, okay, hold on a second. And then he went to Google and he's like, paramotor.
Yeah.
He's looking at pictures.
Because when he came back, he said, is it going to be a manned glider? I don't know. They probably get hit with this drone thing all the time. I don't know much about the drone legalities or whatever, but I know there's a lot of restrictions and a lot of people. I mean, for every paramotor pilot, you probably got 1,000 or more people that are flying a drone. And,
right.
In the city, I mean, that's where a lot of them probably are, people doing stuff like that. So I figure there's some restrictions on how close you need to get with those things. And
so if you now for people that don't really understand all this, and maybe you're a new pilot, or maybe you just got a paramotor in your garage and you're fresh to the sport. Kyle went through and he inspected the aeronautical chart for his area and checked where the no-fly zone or fly area and understands the rules and regulations on flight for FAR 103. This was not some haphazard thing. Calls the tower, says, hey, I'm interested in flying in this area. Those guys know the rules. Kyle knows the rules and flew. And like you said in the video, there's probably people going, you know what, I'm gonna call the police, because that's just weird. Mark Honeycutt had a video where he's flying around and they end up calling the police, and a military police end up following him and landing where he's at. And they were cool when it turns out that they were all right.
Yeah. I think he had checked with the proper channels, because he's a pilot as well. He flies helicopters professionally. And so he checked through all the right channels. And it was somebody on the ground who didn't check through the right channels. If the guy on the ground had called the people Mark called, he would have said, oh, yeah, it's fine. But he just made the assumption he wasn't supposed to be there. I saw the video that you referred to there. It was, miscommunication. That's what it all boils down to. And that's one reason I wanted to talk to those guys in case I came into any trouble with law enforcement or whatever. Sometimes they'll chase you down and ask you questions. It's happened actually north of Shreveport Bossier. I was in G airspace out there under the shelf flying around, and I saw these two deputies over at the I think it was Benton High School, and I saw some kids waving. And this is just a huge river bottom. It's all farmland. There's like a one strip, like one main road, and there's some grocery stores and gas stations and stuff over at the corner. And the courthouse was over there. Well, I'm in this field and I go over by the grocery store. There's some kids waving. So I flew by and kind of did a wave as I flew around there. And when I went back, these guys chased us back. And there was 3 or 4 of us flying around that day. And we landed at a church field behind a church somewhere. The guy told us we could use it. So, I mean, right smack dab in the middle of an intersection where there's a lot of cars and stuff, but it's a wide open field, and we kind of got out of Dodge, but right beside all this congestion is just wide open fields. So, you know, it's good. You're right there by the city, but it's still open enough that you're not violating any regulations. But these law guys pull up, man, these deputies, and there's like a train of them, 3 or 4 of them at that point, rolled up together, and they said, "Who's in the yellow glider?" or "Who's on the yellow glider?" And I was packing my stuff up at that point, and I was like, "Yeah, that was me." And I went to shake his hand. As I stepped toward him to shake his hand, he took a step back and grabbed his gun. And I was like, "Whoa, man!" Like, he's like, "You were flying over the courthouse. That's restricted airspace." And I was like, "Look, buddy, first off, I didn't fly over anything, and I got GPS evidence to prove it. I don't know what you're talking about. And it's not restricted over there is the other thing." And it kind of got on my nerves that he acted all Mr. Tough Guy like that, you know, grabbing his gun when I went to shake his hand. I mean, come on, really? Anyway, it was obvious that we were just out there having a good time. I guess they were real bored. I don't know. I typically like law enforcement guys, but this dude was a you know, one of the guys you see that goes viral, you know. And anyway, luckily one of the guys we were flying with, I say luckily, I didn't really care one way or another. I knew I had done nothing wrong and had evidence to prove it. But one of the guys was an airline pilot that was on a powered parachute that just happened to come by and saw us, and he landed there to talk to us. And he's like, "I'm an airline pilot for Delta or whoever." And he was talking to him and told him, you know, he didn't do anything wrong. It's not restricted over there. And anyway, they just had some bad information, and it almost, you know, I mean, I don't know if it would have put me in a jam, but if he's going to grab his gun, that seems intense, you know, for whatever he thought I was or wasn't doing.
Well, how did you do the handshake? Did you pull your hand out of your pocket real fast and go, "Huh?"
Yeah, sure. I always do that, man. No, it was just a normal, like, "Hey guys, I thought they were coming to check it out." You know, I was just being friendly. It was just a friendly, "I'm going to shake your hand because you're coming to check it out." And yeah, he didn't want to be friendly that day, I guess.
That's hilarious.
Anyway,
well,
he probably got bullied in school or something. I don't know. Yeah. People have bad days. I shouldn't judge.
We have something very special tonight. Larry is going to share with us. Larry, if you want to get your the stuff sack out, he's going to be giving away. He's going to give away a stuff sack tonight. And so, paraorangeproducts.com, and just kind of tell us a little bit about that stuff. And I also, since this is the first time that you're on live with us, tell us how you decided to come to the conclusion you want to make stuff for paramotors. And
it's an interesting story. As you know, I've been flying general aviation since '89. I got into paramotoring in 2005, the first time, and that was foot launch. But as I got older, into my 60s, I decided it was time to get in a wheeled unit. So for the last 2 years, I've been flying a quad. And I bought a quad. I won't mention the name of the company on this show tonight anyway. And they gave me a windsock that was black and green. So I went to an airfield, took off, flying around, came back to the airfield, and was looking for my windsock. And I couldn't see it from the sky. So I landed successfully, came home and said to my wife, I said, "Can you please order me an orange low velocity windsock?" And she went online and she came back. She says, "I can't find one." She goes, "Well, I'll make you one." So she made me this windsock. This is how it all started. And I took it to the airport, set it up. A couple of my friends were there flying, and they said, "Where'd you get the windsock?" I said, "Well, Chris made it." "Can she make me one? And can she make me one?" And the next thing you know, she made like 25 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the flying was coming up, and she said, "Can we sell these?" I said, "Let's try." So she made a bunch of them. We went to this fly-in. Not only she sold everything she made, she walked away with orders that kept her busy for months. And from that, we started developing other products. And you might have seen, there's a video that Tucker did where he's using he did a review of our bag. And a lot of people don't know this, but Tucker was very involved with the design of the bag. Him and Chris, my wife, who I affectionately call the bag lady, she and Tucker spent an afternoon on the floor. That sounds bad. But they were on the floor at Aviator with the Paradigm team trying to come up with the perfect bag. And that's how our bag was created.
Nice.
From that meeting, it was like a 5-hour meeting. And we came out with the bag that we call the orange, not to be confused with another bag of the same color. And our bag is what we call, no problems with that. Our bag is really the idea behind it that everybody wants is to stuff their wing quickly.
Yep.
And the idea of this bag, there's no sides on it. It's a big disc. And when you take this is the what we call take along, and this is for foot launch, so you can stick it under your arm, stick it in your bag, and you can fly anywhere. And if you do have to land, not at your place of origination, you have a bag with you to stow your wing. And other people make products like that, and it's a great idea. This has fast pack technology. One of our close friends, I'll just use his first name, George, he puts his wing in the bag and stuffs it in like under 10 seconds. It's amazing to watch him do it. This particular bag is made of a ripstop material. And if I open it up, it's just a big disc. This is what we call the standard foot launch. This would handle from the teens to like a 24 square meter. But I do have friends that use a Ozone Sirocco 31, and they fit it in this.
Wow.
And yeah, and the idea of it is, it's hard to show you on the film, but on the video, there's just one cord, and when you pull this, it just closes up and kind of flowers right around the wing.
Love it. So we're giving this one. This is the one we're giving away tonight?
Well, no, I've got another one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the one that's going out tonight.
That's what I mean. That's the
appropriate size wing. If someone has a 32, we even make this to go up to hold a 42 square meter. Like I fly a 38 and a 34. So we make very, very large ones for the wheeled units as well. So whatever the person wins tonight, whatever size, we'll give them the appropriate bag.
Okay, here we go. Where you got perspective? Is it? I kept on saying it was perspective.
It's perspective, I think.
Perspective, yeah.
Perspective.
Yeah,
and I always say perspective.
How long you go with it?
Just let me do it. Just let me run with that line.
Thing, man, you always. That's what. All right, so we got a bunch of Patreon names here in this helmet. You guys hear me all right?
Okay, I'm gonna interpret. He said we've got a bunch of Patreon names in this hat. Okay, so he's gonna pull a name out of the hat. Let's see here. He's pulling it right now.
Not looking. Adam Sweeney.
He put himself in that raffle. Who is it?
Yay, Callow! Yay! Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Let's see.
You guys,
a $68 value. Who is it? I can't see it and I can't hear you. Everyone's leaning in.
Is he at my drugstore using my internet over there?
Dang it, I still can't see it.
I don't know if you...
What is it? Sweeney?
Yeah, Adam Sweeney.
Adam
Sweeney.
All right.
You are the winner.
You got it tonight.
Nice bag, Adam.
Congratulations, Adam.
Congratulations, Adam Sweeney. Okay, so Adam Sweeney, what you're going to need to do. You like my New York accent? Larry's like, okay, I'm going to get my pen out.
You sound like my brother.
Yeah, I think we've got just about every regional accent covered on this podcast right now.
But
I mean,
Kyle,
all four corners of the country are like in this room.
Kyle, can't you tell from my accent I live in Florida?
Of course I can.
I'm just a stone's throw away from you, brother.
That's right. Is it cold there yet, though?
No. It's hot as you can imagine.
Yeah. Florida's the only place in this world that I'm a little jealous of. Most people are jealous of me because I fly year round, usually in warm weather. And when it's snowing in Canada, it's t-shirt here a lot of the times. So Yeah. Speaking of that, Fly Guy Alberto put a video up the other day, and it was he's like, "Yeah, we've had some snow," and he's in like the whole onesie suit. And
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-mm. That hurts my feelings for him.
Adam Sweeney, you're going to need to send me your email, or I have your email. You're going to need to contact me via email, and I'm going to connect you with Larry from paraorangeproducts.com. Go to paraorangeproducts.com. Check out all the things that they have to offer for paramotors. They have some great stuff on there. They have a nice, easy to navigate website where you can find everything that you want for all of your paramotoring needs. One of the things I really like about it is that it's made in America, made by Americans. USA. America.
That's right.
We make it right here at our home in Florida, and I've got to let you in on a secret.
Yeah.
Because we've had such a positive result, and we really got much busier than we expected, I went and took sewing classes, and I now actually sew. I've done it, and I sew. I make all the windsocks now.
Did you watch it on YouTube?
No, I took a class. Oh, she was I can't curse because I'll have to pay $10, but she was the B word, and we had to make a pillow. And my wife says, "What are you going to do with this pillow when you finish with it? When you finish making it?" I said, "I'm going to beat her with it."
Did she yell at you?
Oh my goodness,
school, man.
She was like I was the biggest idiot she ever met. She felt, you'll never be able to do this, And I'm pretty numb with my fingers. I'm a guitar player. I've been playing guitar since I'm 7 years old, so I know how to move my fingers. I'm not the most delicate person, but she was horrible. She was just horrible. But she must have taught me, because my wife said I passed Chris's inspection, so now I make the windsocks. I can't do the bags. That's really hard to do. The bag that's hard to do, but I do a lot of other things now. So what makes me excited is paramotors and sewing machines.
Small things in life.
You want to know what my next sewing project is going to be?
I saw your video sewing. You were sewing. What were you sewing? You were sewing
harness,
trimmers.
Wasn't it?
You were fixing the trimmers.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, I did make a video about that. No, I saw all kind of stuff. But my next thing is going to be my own homemade anti-G drogue chute. Like I've got all the measurements. I looked at a guy that had one out in Texas, and I took good video and pictures of everything. So I'm gonna make my own version of an anti-G drogue, because those things that looks pretty cool for what it is, the package that it comes in, and the safety factor it gives you. Man, we had I don't think it's out there on the internet, but let me tell you what happened. It might help somebody else. We had a kind of a newer guy that was doing some thermal in there after all the competitors were out of there. I wasn't there for the event, but I mean the incident, but I saw some video of it and they told me about it. But this guy was thermaling, and again, these conditions were just exploding off, huge climbs and stuff, the updrafts, downdrafts. And he was going up into a cloud, and he didn't want to get cloud sucked. So he let go of his toggles and he said he grabbed his stabilos, which I always grab the A's to do big ears, but he was going to do big ears. And he pulled the big ears, and as he was coming down, he came out of the thermal and his wing shot out in front of him, but he didn't have his toggles on his arms. And so he couldn't stop the wing, and it overshot him. He fell through the lines and got hung, and it hung him. He passed out. He was hung, and he spiraled into a sat all the way down to the ground, hit some power lines, and the power lines slowed him down enough. When he hit the ground, it woke him up, and he was fine. It was it burned some holes in his glider, but it was quite excruciating for all the people that were there to watch. And just something as simple as not letting go of your toggles, but maybe reaching through them so that you got that control if you need to stop the surge. He just had nothing, and that's what transpired because of that. Just a simple little thing, man. Keep your toggles on your hands. Don't let go of them all the way if you're in those big conditions like that.
What in the world? When did that happen?
This was in Texas, man.
Wow.
Second week of August, I guess.
This is just recently.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was during the competition?
Well, he was there for like a training event that was happening at the same airport after it kind of intertwined with the competition. They were using the same tow machines and stuff, but they were doing like a beginner's thermaling course, that sort of thing. And, first intro to cross country, that sort of, I don't even know if it was official training that they were doing. They were just out there playing in the sky because all the stuff was there. I think the event actually started after the competition, but everybody was there for that.
Well, that is the first time I've ever heard that power lines saved someone.
Yeah. It was
shocking.
But the guys that were there, that were in the sky and was watching this happen, you threw out their anti-drogues and spiraled right down beside him so they could get help with like GPS coordinates, how to tell people to come get him and stuff, because he was fine at first. So
anti-G.
Yeah, those are nice.
Do you have one?
No, but I'm gonna make one. That's what I was getting at. I'm gonna make one for next season. And
you know what?
Because when it's time to get down, that is the way to get down, or a cloud suck situation. Instead of having to do big ears or something like that, you just toss that drogue, pull a hard spiral, and you go down still at like 3,000 feet a minute. Yeah. But you're only pulling about 2 Gs. You're not getting, like 4 Gs and passing out. So you can hold it and you don't get G locked. Yeah. Very, very useful for what they are. And they fold up to like a size of a taco, man. There's nothing to them. It's
tacos.
Todd and Todd from Resurgence PPG is harassing me in the chat in case you're not paying attention.
Yeah. That's so don't let go of your toggles.
Well, okay, so you're gonna make these. Basically, if you don't know what that anti-G is, it's like a little miniature parachute, and you tie it to whatever side you're gonna hook it to your carabiner on whatever side that you're going to be making the turn.
You try to do it opposite your reserve handle. That way you don't accidentally pull a reserve when you're trying to throw the drogue.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, so is it going to stick like in between you and like next to your hip?
Yeah, it's just in a little pouch. It can like clamp. You can like clamp it on the risers or something. There's not much footprint to this thing when it's packed away.
Okay.
It's very small. You can look them up. There's some online you can check out and just type in anti-G drogue and you'll see them.
So you're going to make your own. Are you just going to pull out some string? Larry's over there taking notes. I see his
taking notes. He's right.
Well, I got some dimensions and I looked at how it was sewn together and also to disable it, it's got a line that runs all the way through to the middle, just like it's hooked to the middle of the chute, and the line, you pull it, and when you pull it, it pulls the chute inside out so that it's a streamer. And you clip it over to the other side of your harness or something, and then you just got a streamer behind you. It's not dragging you down or anything and risking a stall or something when you get low. After you're done with the spiral, you just pull the disengagement line, and it disengages the whole thing, and you could reel it in and tuck it away or just let it flutter in the wind behind you, but it's no longer open. It closes when you pull the inner line. It's just hooked to the middle of the chute, and it pulls it inside out. So it's not a chute anymore. It's a streamer then.
I need that in my life.
Yeah. I mean, they're in, I think you pay maybe a couple of $100 for them. There's a couple of different companies that make them, but when I saw these guys using them and they got down fast and they were right there when the guy finally hit the ground, somebody was right there with him immediately. And it was, it sold it on me right then. I was all good with it. And,
so the guy's okay, huh?
Yeah, he was fine. He was back there for supper. So it's pretty cool.
And nothing, he didn't get, jacked up or anything.
Maybe a little rope burn, line burn on his neck a little, but it wasn't anything. And he said he was trying to reach for a reserve. And as he reached, he just passed out. He remembered the whole event in detail, but he got hung by his lines. And it was pretty intense.
That is intense.
Mm-hmm.
Yankee and SC1's going to bed. Good night, sir. Thank you for joining us. We got 76 people watching live.
Oh, wow.
What in the world is going on around
here?
They're
probably here for Dane, man. Dane.
Now we just need 42 more likes and we're even.
Yeah. Dane's got full pimp on the video making. I love your edits, man.
Yeah, I do like them.
Yeah. You need to make more. You need to make more, dude.
My computer hates me for it. Literally,
Oh yeah,
just like steaming out of the side. It's bad.
I know mine too.
Yeah.
I dig the shorter videos. The more I watch YouTube videos, the more I like them. But if you're gonna make a long one, it's got to be good. And Kyle has mastered that, where it's quality, and you're like, okay, I need to watch this, and you can't get away from it.
And I'm completely self-taught video maker too. Like I just felt my way through it. Always wanted to do it. I think that was probably the big thing with me, is I always just wanted to make videos, even way before I was a pilot, and I never had the opportunity to. And I guess I'll spill the beans, man. I pre-ordered one of the GoPro Hero 7s. So Kylo videos are fixing to hit that next level, of smoothness. Because I've just got the Hero 2, man, and it is shaky as all rip. And I'm constantly trying to focus on holding my head still when I look around at something so that the video is not BS.
What is the camera that you've been filming all this on?
It's a Hero 2.
That's what I use too, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the original one my brother gave me 8 years ago when I was doing airplane aerobatics. He's like, look, man, I got this thing. Put it on the airplane and make an action video. I was like, yeah, cool, action video. Let's do it. and same thing Dane was talking about. I put it in my computer and it choked it all the way. And I said, it took me about 4 hours to make a 2-minute clip. And I just said, nah, I'm not going to make videos. But anyway, that's what I've been using all along, at least for the helmet cam. I've got some other cameras that I use for B-roll footage and such, but the shop cam. But yeah, I got a Hero 7 pre-ordered. It'll be here maybe next week, I think. I think the 3rd they're saying it will be delivered. So I'm excited about that. It's the first actual GoPro that I've bought. So
I'm excited.
I waited long enough, I guess.
I'm excited to see what the Hypersmooth does while you're flying, how it interprets.
Well, flying keeps it pretty smooth anyway, because it's not like mountain biking or anything. And heavy turbulence looks pretty dang smooth. I mean, I fumbled my way through this far with the Hero 2 with zero stabilization at all. Yeah. And it's not, it looks pretty terrible when you're looking at it, but to most people, just the casual looker, it doesn't look too extreme or anything. But they've got the tech out now, so why not utilize it? Yeah. But, it was time. I guess I'll use that YouTube money to buy something. Of course, it's all gone now. I'm back at zero.
Dang it, man.
But yeah, I like making the videos. It's just I don't have internet at the house, and they were telling me today that some Supreme Court guy fondled some woman back in the day, and it's on all the news channels. I didn't know anything about it. People were asking me about it at work today, and I was totally lost. What?
Yeah. Brett
anyway, I make videos. I don't watch the news, man. I make videos.
We're trying to fly away from all of that.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry I even brought it up, man, because apparently it's a big deal out there.
No, I don't even understand how it can be a big deal.
I know, right? We're talking news. Come on.
Yeah, it's a bunch of drama.
That's not news.
Save the drama for your mama.
More like bad news.
Ross Gasaway, you're watching. I just saw you comment. I want to have you on the show. Please reach out to me. I want to have you on the show live if you're willing to do it. Okay.
Ross is cool. I met him in real life and didn't even recognize him.
Oh yeah.
I was so embarrassed. I was like, "Oh man."
That's who I was flying with in the last video.
I know.
Okay.
I'd watched him in 100 videos, and then I meet him in Kansas. I'm like, "Hey, I'm Kyle." He's like, "I know, Ross." I think we've even chatted online. I felt like such a chump. Of course, I just met 100 people in a row. So, yeah. It's my poor brain just can't take it sometimes. Anyway.
People. People want Ross.
I love the people, though, man. I love them. Especially pilot people that fly parastuffs. Those are my favorite people. I get a kick out of it, man.
Ross just messaged me in the email that fast. Thank you, Ross.
Boom.
Next week, next Thursday,
Yeah.
What is it? October something or other.
He's got a good story to tell, that's for sure.
The Ross Show. You're not going to want to miss it on paraglidingtalk.com.
That's right.
I need to do commercials.
No, you don't.
Sell the show with commercials.
People hate commercials, man. They hate them.
No, I mean, not
commercial
for us.
for the show.
Yeah, not for us, but for,
Yeah.
It gets you set up with a vocal trainer. There you go. Vocal trainer, so you got your radio voice.
Yeah. This Thursday, we're going to have paraglidingtalk.com.
So, Sean, tell me, how much have you been flying, dude?
Well, quite a bit, actually, when I can. The weather's been kind of pooey, but, in between.
You've got more latitude than I.
Yeah. Well, I've been zipping it out. I'm up to the 13th flight's going to be on Saturday.
Nice.
And then Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be scooting around in some butter, and it's going to be some good stuff. So I'm excited.
Man, speaking of butter, tonight's launch out of the parking lot, my forearm actuated my trim release on my left side about halfway out. And I need to fix that. That's probably going to be coming up in a video soon. I was running so fast and I had a little wind and I was just like, dang, I ain't flying yet. I'm hauling across this parking lot. And finally I lift off and I look, I'm like, oh, trims are halfway out on this Hadron XX. That's why. And it was, so I got to fix that. That's a huge drawback with that glider is they got these big trim tabs that are really easy to push, but they're really easy to push. So your forearms, if they touch them on a forward launch, it lets them out. And I've had them all the way out on one side and another. And my old ones, I had taken them off. I just drilled out the rivets. So I'm gonna do a video about that soon. Probably film it tonight because I'm tired of dealing with the trim release on a nil wind forward launch. You have to run so fast under that wing. Oh my gosh, it's a fast wing as it is, but
I've had that happen on my little cloud, the 18 that I kite all the time.
Yeah.
Where the trimmer just happened to slide a little bit more than where it was at, and it was definitely something like, well, okay, something's going on.
I'm thinking about changing up wings. I don't even have a clue, at least for my motor glider. I'm thinking about maybe doing a different motor glider. I guess it's time to go into demo mode again. I really liked that carve by Jen that Minyard let me fly in Kansas. I may want to see if he'll loan me that one for like a week or two and actually get some time on it. And then I've never flown a free ride like what Ozone's offering there. That one's not interesting. I've flown a Viper 4. I think it's probably a similar glider to that one. But yeah, I don't know, man. I may just stick around with the old Dudek Hadron and just put some new lines on it or something. Not that anything's wrong with it. It's just I've been flying it for 2 years. It's probably due for an inspection. It's probably out of trim just a little bit. And it's just I don't really beat them up as hard as everyone probably thinks I do. I tend to baby them. I got them their own bed that they lay on in the evenings, and I've got some blood on the Hadron. It's one side of the wingtip is covered in blood. I fell down and scraped my leg, just a tiny little scratch. And when I picked the wing up, I was walking with it and I bled all over the stupid thing. It looks like somebody was murdered on it. So it's just from a tiny little cut on my leg. Yeah.
But you didn't clean it. You left it on there, right?
Yeah, I left it on there. It's
awesome.
Cleaning them, they say, is bad. So whatever.
It's a Halloween wing.
Yeah, I don't want it to become porous.
I'll tell you what, that Hadron was moving when I was out there training with you, and I had that Mojo 5. It was like I was sitting still, and you're right around. I'm like,
it's fast, man. I've gone across countries with people with everything, snakes and all, and it's fast. It is so fast. Of course, it depends on if you're loaded heavy or not too, but it's got a huge trim range. It's just a speed demon. It's real fast and pretty dang agile. And of course, you're costing yourself a little bit of lift there too. When something is cooking that fast through the air, it's obviously you're not picking up the air and pushing up. It's cutting through. So I don't know where I want to go though with my next ride, but I'm kind of getting that itch, just that slight little itch, like, oh, there's stuff out there. I don't know.
You're flying up like an A-wing.
Like it makes me want to get a dang acro wing and go do a bunch of dang stalls and stuff, man. That's fun too.
What?
So I don't know, man.
Hold on
Maybe
a
I
second.
need 2 new wings. I just don't know it. And then there's the whole tandem thing, you know. Ooh, love to have a tandem set up. That would be nice too. So I think I want more than my needs allow. I mean, my funds allow, that sort of thing. What do they call that? Your eyes are bigger than your stomach. I think that's what I have.
Your wife's gonna beat you. You can't be putting this on the internet.
She's not watching this, I promise.
It's on the internet, bro. You're in trouble.
Talk about
She's
the
probably
death
there
machines.
too, but she's over in the other corner of the internet.
Yeah. I hope it's not the Woody gamer tag corner.
Oh yeah,
That's the bad.
that's
kids.
a dark corner of the internet there.
He was trolling you and saying that you were at like a haunted house filming live or something like that. I don't know what he said. He said there, if you look behind him, there's some skeletons back there or something.
Man, you know, the video that came up after his video he just posted, you know, YouTube randomly picks one afterward to autoplay. And I just had my phone sitting there. I wasn't even watching, like after it went off, I just set it down. I was trying to get on here with you guys. And it came on like, okay, now we're going to play the sexual assault game. And they had to show a picture of like a sex pervert that had been arrested. And they had to guess how old they were or what the crime was. And you got points for getting that was the next Woody video that popped up.
I saw that. That's horrible.
It was pretty terrible. I was laughing at it though. It is funny, man. The guy's internet gold for sure.
Yeah.
But, I love some Woody online. That's pretty cool. He's pretty cool in real life too. Yeah.
Dude, what cracks me up is that he's supposed to be doing his show right now. He's filming his show for the next episode. It's going to be released tomorrow or the next day. But he's watching our show and in the comments.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, Woody, what's up, dude?
I know. I messaged him. I said, hey, pay attention. You're on the internet right now.
Oh, fun.
So funny. Yeah.
So internet's a wild place, man. I'm so happy to have explored it.
Yeah.
Found a place in it.
Do you think maybe since Woody hasn't paid his volunteer cash, for the cursing, maybe perhaps he should do on his show, he contacts us live on his show.
I don't know that we want that, Sean.
I know, yeah.
I believe the people that go to his show are called the Rape Squad Killers.
Yes, Rape Squad
We may
Killers.
not want those people.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
Oh, they come. They'll come looking for Woody every once in a while. We'll be live and I'll see the RSK come up in the comments. I'm like, what? I had to call Woody and go, what does that mean? And he goes, oh, you don't want to know.
I could see him blushing when he came on the podcast that night. He said, the people that are here are not good people. Please don't what they write.
I want to be honest.
The way
I
he
laughed.
said it made it even better.
I know. I laughed so hard that night. My face hurt. Like I was when we were done, because it went for 4 hours.
I know, man. We were banging it off. It was cool.
That was fun, but it was on a Friday night, so it's a little different. Thursday nights is a little different.
True this, man. True this.
Yeah. I really appreciate you coming on, by the way, and taking the time to talk to us. Larry, thank you so much for your support of the show and being involved and the giveaway. Larry came on, volunteered this stuff. He also contributes to the Patreon. He's so scratch your back, I'll scratch yours, however that works. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's simple. I like the old school way, and so if I can help you, I'll look at there already RSKing in the chat. If you're interested in being involved with the show, maybe you want to be a moderator, or maybe you want to you have somebody that you want to have on the show that you would think would be great. We will put them through the screening process, have them on. And also, I just want to encourage you, go to the Patreon, support the show. If you're already supporting the show, maybe you're just giving $1 because you weren't sure how it was going to work out. Bump it up to $5, man. Support the show. I support a bunch of Patreons now. I love Nick Hawks, who used to come and moderate every once in a while, former Navy SEAL, great guy. He has a new Patreon. And he does all things, not just flying. He has some really cool stuff.
Nick was on the Mayhem.
Yeah, he's been on Mayhem like 3 times now.
Yeah. That's where I originally came across him, was on the Mayhem.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
neat stuff, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. So he recently started one. I know Max Martini started one, and you know, I support him. I really like his channel and some of the things that he offers. He's a regular on the channel, and you know, it's just cool because YouTube's not going to realistically. YouTube's not going to pay me.
No,
No.
no.
but it is fun, and it's something cool. So anyways, really appreciate everybody. Adam Sweeney, you are the winner of the stuff sack. Reach out to me. You have 5 days to get a hold of me. That means you had to have watched this show. If you didn't watch it, the giveaway is going to extend to the next week. We're going to give it to somebody else. Say something else. I wish you would. We were hoping he was going to be in the chat.
Nobody tell him. Shh.
Yeah, nobody tell him. And then you'll have a chance.
Woohoo.
Yeah. So do we know what we're going to give away next week? Or I mean next month? So 1 month from now.
I have to
Do we
talk
know?
to the bag. I have to talk to the bag lady.
Bag lady. That's horrible. You can't call her the bag lady.
She's in another room.
Oh, she's gonna watch
I
this. Larry.
I don't know what next month is. I don't know. I have to ask the bag lady because we
So
do
we-
have a new product hitting. The end of this next week. New products hitting. So that might be the giveaway. The new product. Something
Nice.
that people
I like
that do cross country like I do, a lot of cross country, they're gonna really like this.
Okay, we're gonna keep it a secret. I like that. Dangerous Dane. Today he became a moderator. So you're gonna be invited to the show whenever you're available, and help out with the show. Thank you, Dangerous Dane. I appreciate that. And,
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you didn't have to do anything really tonight, but we like having you on, and it'll be fun. So I'll give you the moderator rights, and we'll talk a little bit about this in the after show. There'll be a quick after show. Thank you so much, all you guys that are watching. 70, gosh, we're up to 80 viewers right now. Really appreciate everybody joining and being a part of this. Everybody tell Mark Honeycutt you want to have him on the show. And Ross Gasway, you can do it next week. I'm going to email you. We'd love to talk to you about your recent incident and talk about your flying history and learn some stuff about flying. Really appreciate everybody. You guys have a great night, and we're going to do it again soon. Oh, by the way, Kyle and I talked a little bit few months ago about doing some very specific shows where we're going to talk about specific things. Maybe we'll talk about the aeronautical chart. Maybe we'll have a show where we talk about just free flight or just paramotoring and focus in on some stuff. And so that's coming down the pipe, and that's some ideas that we have floating around out there. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next time. Go
Much
to
love, y'all. Appreciate you.
paraglidingtalk.com. Have a great night, guys.